Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and that's right, we're doing everybody's favorite thing on YouTube, a tier list. Yep, something that everybody agrees upon every single time they watch one of these. So since you guys really liked the last tier list video, I thought we'd do another one of these because Overwatch is a forever evolving game. No, that tier list I did months ago is completely outdated because a bunch of heroes got nerfs and buffs, and when those heroes get nerfs and buffs, other heroes indirectly become better or worse because they're used to counter other heroes. But some people don't realize that, and they get really upset when their favorite hero isn't at the S tier list, which if you guys don't know how this ranking system works, basically it's a top from bottom, best to worst. S tier is where there's basically nothing wrong with the hero, you can use it in any situation with a combo or just by himself. A tier is where maybe there's one or two things wrong with the hero, but otherwise it's a pretty solid hero. B tier is a hero that's really consistent, there are a lot of good things, but also some bad things that you need to consider with that hero. C tier is where things get really wonky, where the cons or drawbacks of the heroes can be really defining for that hero, but if you can ignore it or just look past it and do really well, then of course it's gonna be a good hero. D tier is where you have one or two good things about a hero, maybe it's an ultimate or maybe just an ability, but other than that, that hero just really isn't all that great. And F tier is a tier that I'm really renaming to be the buff tier because man, these heroes, they need some looking after, man. So finally, let's start making people angry. Soldier 76, a weird hero to start off with. He's been getting better within time, but he's still the jack of all trades, master of none. Like, yeah, he's got moderately consistent and somewhat good DPS. His abilities are kind of lackluster. His ultimate can be blocked by a lot of heroes, so he's literally the definition of just average, mediocre, C tier. There are better options, but he's not the worst. Orisa's up next. Now, one thing I want to point out is that we're just looking at Orisa. Not double shield, not looking at pulled pork, nothing. This is just Orisa. So yes, Sigma and Orisa probably would be S tier, but by herself, she's not that great, man. B tier. Her shield's a paper napkin. She has little to no protection once that shield gets destroyed other than fortify, but because her headbox is so big, it's so easy to still do a lot of damage when you're talking about heroes like Soldier or Tracer or Genji. That's her biggest drawback, but she's still a consistently good shield tank, especially with double shield, but we're not trying to take that in consideration, so that's why I put it at B tier. There are better shield tanks, but she's still a somewhat solid option if you need a shield. Zarya, S tier. I don't really know any other hero that's been consistently good for as long as Zarya has. One of the best ultimates in the game, great DPS potential, and even a tiny bit of protection potential if somebody refuses to switch onto a main tank. Like, yes, you should always play a shield tank, but if you have to get by, Zarya is the hero to go to. Plus, when you try to get by with Zarya's protection, that just means more charge for you because you're always going to be at 80 or 100 charge because your team is so stupid sometimes and always just goes in, but the bubbles are helpful. Torbjorn, I low-key feel like is a slept-on hero because you have the turret that's accurate 100% of the time. It's doing damage every single time it has line of sight on a hero, and that can be especially useful when it comes to like an Echo and a Pharah when they're always in the sky, as long as they don't have a bubble or a shield protecting them. But that's also another drawback is that you just need a shield and a bubble to protect you from the Torbjorn turret. It can easily get destroyed. Torbjorn himself, while he has high DPS potential, he's just so easy to hit. I'm putting him in D tier just because I feel like there are a lot better options when it comes to DPS heroes. And yeah, you are accurate 100% of the time, but that just means you lack skill to be accurate. That shouldn't be a substitute or a pro when it comes to a hero. So Sigma's up next, and I'm going to be telling you guys that I'm going to be considering this after the Sigma nerfs. So when his shield goes to 700 HP and with his sucky ability getting nerfed, he would have been S tier before all that, but I'm going to be dropping him to A tier. He's still a great solid shield tank. He has a great ultimate, probably one of the best ultimates in the game considering Zarya's too. He has so much abilities and just so much utility, but that nerf, man, was so devastating to Sigma that I just dropped him 1 tier. Okay, so Reaper has a point to be in the game, to be a tank buster. However, the recent tanks that have been added in the game have given them protection from Reaper. Hammond, he got a shield every single time he's around an enemy, and then Sigma got his sucky ability, which literally grants him shield from the Reaper's bullets. F tier. I am sorry, it pains me to put a hero in the F tier because that basically says he's not as good as the other heroes, but if we're doing an honest tier list, they're just better heroes than Reaper right now. Baptiste has always been a solid healer where the only drawback was that you had to be accurate with your shots. Now, not as accurate as say Ana, there is still a little bit of AoE heal. However, Baptiste has a lot of utility compared to most healers. I mean, you do have the immortality field, probably his strongest asset, but you also have his jumpy boot passive. While I still don't think it's one of the best passives, it still allows you you to get on a high ground to be able to launch those heal and more accurately. So that's why I'm going to be putting him at A tier. You're going to soon see why I'm not putting him at S tier, but I think A tier, no, not B tier, A tier is a solid choice. There are some drawbacks, and that's the fact that you had to be somewhat accurate, and the fact that there's also a better healer in my eyes compared to Baptiste. We'll get to that. Mccree's tough, man. I think it's the fact that heroes nowadays are getting so many abilities and even passive abilities that allow them to go up the tier list and to be an A tier. I mean, I just listed with Baptiste and Sigma the utility that it presents himself. Mccree, you can roll and shoo. That doesn't make him a bad hero, but there's just not a lot of opportunity to like do anything with that other than just be accurate and get a lot of headshots. So that's why it pains me to put him in C tier along with Soldier 76, because it's like, okay, you can do a lot of DPS, but nowadays when you have so much protection and so much heal, I mean, you're just feeding the healer ultimate charge at that point. Yeah, he has a stun, and that comes in handy against Tracer and Doomfist, but And here is why Baptiste is an A tier, and that's because Ana is an S tier. Ana has probably been the most consistent healer throughout Overwatch's lifespan. You had the World of Tank meta back in Season 3, around when she first got released, and even now in Season 23, god dang, it's been a long time, she's still consistently one of the best because you have the most heal output as long as you're accurate. You also have the anti-grenade, which can be useful against like Bastion and Roadhog, you know, heroes that rely on self-heal, and you have a sleep dart that you can use to protect yourself. While you do have the drawbacks of needing to be accurate and also not having any self-health regeneration, that is her biggest drawback, but I mean, you're able to live off health packs since you are in the back line. Mei, can you tell I really like Mei? No, she's a little bit better than Reaper because she does have the wall. But you think after 6 nerfs, yeah, she's probably gonna go from S tier 6 months ago to F tier, man. She is just not good. She's never been a good DPS hero, but it was the fact that she was able to freeze a lot of heroes to allow heroes like Reaper, like Mccree, like any kind of DPS hero to get a lot of DPS on them. But now that she runs out of ammo so quick, and the fact that her wall gets destroyed so easily, man, just, it pains me to see her F tier, but she's not the hero that she used to be, which sucks because it's not like she got better over time. She just stayed stagnant. Boop! Drop down. Pharah. Just Pharah. Not Pharmacy, not Mercy, and Pharah, just Pharah makes Pharah a D tier hero. Pharah is one of the easiest heroes to kill. If you're playing a hit scan hero like Soldier, like Mccree, without a Mercy, it is so easy because she leaves herself vulnerable while being in the air. The only reason why she's not an F tier rather than D tier is that this is one of the few heroes where, yes, someone that learns how to traverse the map, learns the flight patterns, and knows when to concussion blast herself to really focus on a specific hero that might counter her, yeah, can do a lot of work for Pharah even without a Mercy. But other than those few exceptions, I feel like Pharah is one of those heroes that either gets outshined by other heroes similar to her, like Junkrat. I mean, they both have the same DPS potential, where Junkrat has an ultimate that's similar to Pharah, where it can almost get insta-kills, but at least Junkrat's somewhat safer. He's not the ultimate. He can hide and use the Riptide. Doomfist has had a roller coaster where he's been the best hero, he's been the worst hero, he's been the best hero. I feel like right now where it stands, he's a solid choice, but not the best choice, so he belongs in B tier. He can be stopped by a lot of heroes like Mccree's Flashbang or like Roadhog's Hook, which is his biggest drawback, but if you are able to focus on heroes like a Zenyatta or like a Soldier 76 or like an Ashe if they don't have the coach gun, not only can you get shield from them, but you can probably insta-kill them, which is his biggest pro. So D.Va's up next, and the only reason why I'm not scared to put D.Va in F tier is because I know every single D.Va player is just as sensitive as me. So they realize that if they're mean to me, they're gonna make me cry later on. But I have my reasons. The reason why D.Va's in F tier in my eyes is that she's this big pink ball that is just so easy to hit. Oh, she has a defense matrix. When you're considering heroes like Zarya's beam or Brigitte's whip, or shoot, even a bad hero like Mei, they can get past her protection. Yeah, you have the ultimate which can insta-kill, but all you gotta do is hide behind a wall. Yeah, you can go and dive a hero, but when it comes to diving someone like a Sigma, where they can just easily suck up your rockets, you're just feeding them shield. Like, there are just so many bad cons to D.Va's seemingly pros that just makes her an F tier hero in my eyes. But then we come to Hammond, and this is the one hero that I'm just genuinely confused on where to put. I want to put him in C tier, but I want to make him like one of the best C tier heroes because there's so much opportunity when it comes to the potential health that you get from his shield. You can have over 1,000 health with Hammond. Even if you get stunned, hooked, whipped by all these CC heroes, you have the health to be able to compensate for the damage that you're taking. Plus, he's a good distraction hero when your team's trying to push in and everyone's so ton vision on the Hammond. Get the Hammond because he's right there in front of us. Plus, on environmental maps like Rialto or one of the maps on Nepal, you can get insta-kills by just kind of staying on the point because you know the team's going to be there and get insta-kills that way too. So either you have high DPS opportunity or high insta-kill opportunity. Junkrat's in a similar boat to Pharah where you do have a few key instances where you do want to play him, like if you do want to burn down a shield or if you do want to use your ultimate to get 1 to 2 kills, which can basically win you the fight because you have numbers, or just get a full team wipe at that point. Like his ultimate is his strongest asset, but he's just so fragile, man. But I do want to make him the best DT hero because you do have the shield busting opportunity, where in recent time with double shield with Sigma and Orisa, that can be very valuable, where the only drawback is if Sigma sucks, gets some of the Junkrat grenades, which builds his shield, which isn't always good time. But other than that, Junkrat, I mean, he's always kind of been at the bottom tier. Reinhardt, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier, the best hero to use consistently. I don't think I need to explain why I think Reinhardt is an S tier hero, but why I think he's one of the best S tier heroes. It would make sense that the leader of Overwatch and the leader of every single composition would be one of the best heroes, and it's because, well, he can do a lot. He can protect you, he can do a lot of damage, he has a great ultimate, he goes good with a lot of compositions, but he also goes good by himself, which is why I put him so high, is because you can use him with Reinhardt and Zarya, but this is a tier based on just by themselves, which is why Pharah is here at the kind of bottom. Reinhardt by himself is still good. You can use a Reinhardt with D.Va, Winston, Roadhog. Yeah, it's more ideal to use it with Zarya or even with another Sigma, but by himself, you can get away with it. Winston was really good for a moment because Genji was the best DPS, just really the best hero, but then Genji got reverted back to where he was before the popular buffs, which means Winston was kind of a thing in the past. Like, he's still a solid tank, but I'm even putting him in B tier because the bubble, I mean, it's nice to be able to put it in a highly trafficked area. His DPS has always been lackluster, but that's never been his strong suit. His ultimate is good, which is, I think, his saving grace because you are able to displace a lot of heroes, especially in like a bunker or double shield comp. But other than that, better shield tanks, better just tanks in general to play. But as a counter hero, pretty solid because Genji is still somewhat popular. Zenyatta did recently get buffed, but not enough to put him in S tier, so I'm gonna be putting him in D tier because when I think about Zenyatta, I just think about how fragile he is, man. Like, yeah, that's kind of his shtick, is that he's a glass cannon, similar to Junkrat, where you have high DPS output, but you have little protection. But so does Brigitte. You know, when you're playing a specific composition or when you're just playing Overwatch, why wouldn't you want to play a Brigitte? Not only do you have protection against your foes like a Tracer or an Echo or a Sombra or a Genji or just half of the DPS arsenal, but you also kind of have a better ultimate if you want to be aggressive in the form of Brigitte. Everything that Zenyatta can do besides counter Zarya's grab can be done by a Brigitte. Oh, speaking of which, Brigitte, I'm putting her in A tier. If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have put her at S tier, but I'm going to be putting her as the best A tier hero just because she did recently get nerfed, and I'm somewhat interested to see how she bounces back from it because every single time she gets nerfed, she always goes back to S tier. I'm putting her at the top of A tier because, yeah, she's not the Brigitte that she once was, but even the Brigitte that she once was wasn't the Brigitte that she once was, and she was still one of, if not the best healer or even hero to play. Definitely as a secondary healer, but now she's less of a healer and more of like that DPS healer, kind of like a Zenyatta in a sense. Still gonna be good, rally's great, protection with the shield, and also shield bastard. It's just, there's too much for Brigitte's own good here. Echo, I'm genuinely curious as to why more people aren't playing her. It's like having a Pharah, a Reaper, and a Junkrat combined into one. That's probably why, because all three of those heroes are kind of at the bottom tier list. But I'm going to be putting Echo at C tier. Again, she has a lot of opportunity to be a great Pharah. And when it comes to tank busting, she has her beam ability. But then she also has the beam ability and also her sticky bombs to bust a lot of the shields. If you guys don't know, any single time you get anything at half health, the beam does double damage, including the shields. And I think that is so important, especially in this double shield meta, but also the fact that you just have all those in one single hero. I just don't know. Maybe it's because like you do need a Mercy to play Echo to be able to unlock all that potential. Otherwise, yeah, it is easy to shoot Echo. A little less easier than Pharah. Tracer, I feel like was only good because Dive was low-key making a comeback because Genji was so good. Like, because Genji was good, it's like, yeah, we want to play Dive, might as well play Tracer. But now that Genji got nerfed and nothing really happened to Tracer, I feel like she's still a solid DPS hero, especially if you can focus on heroes like a Zenyatta or whatnot who are very fragile. But other than that, it's very easy to get taken out because she does have the lowest health pool other than like baby D.Va. And other than high DPS, I mean, you have a Tracer pulse bomb, but I feel like they can get negated by a lot of things nowadays. That's just like, yeah, I mean, she does have the highest skill cap where if you are able to unlock it and get to that high echelon, yeah, you can do a lot of damage without getting stopped, even with a Brigitte. But this is also another reason why I think Mccree is at the C tier, and it's because Ashe belongs at the A tier. Ashe is kind of just like a better Mccree because you are able to be at long distances. And when you have long distances, well, then you have a natural protection ability right there. But she also does have a protection ability in the form of a coach gun against heroes like Doomfist and Tracer that even if they were to come and dive you, well, you just use the coach gun and they either have to A, burn more abilities, or B, not be able to insta-kill you because you have separation. And even at that point, if you get a headshot on a Tracer with a Mercy Blue Beam, you're dead. Like, you're absolutely done. But also Mercy Blue Beam with Ashe can kill a lot of 200 HP heroes on top of that, which is why I think she's so good. But once again, we're just considering why Ashe is A tier by herself. When it comes to Mercy, yeah, you would probably want to put her in S tier, but I feel like by herself, she's a solid DPS hero, especially compared to a lot of these other hit scans. You just have to be accurate, which I don't think is a fair drawback, but is still something I want to try to consider, but it's like at the bottom of the consideration list. Now, if we were just to have a Bob selection here, Bob would be probably the best hero, like, no doubt about it. But if I'm being serious here, Bob is a nice ultimate too, because just like Torbjorn's turret, it's accurate 100% of the time, but it has a much higher health pool. It can get in the enemy's backline. It could be a distraction ultimate while you go and push in an isolated hero. So Ashe has so much going for her. So unlike D.Va mains, I'm actually petrified by Mercy mains because they're absolutely ruthless. If I put her in F tier, I'm gonna be canceled tomorrow, and they will make it happen. They'll contact the CEO of YouTube and get my channel taken down. But if I put her in S tier, then a lot of people will think, oh, you're just being biased because you're scared of Mercy mains. Yeah, you would too. I'm putting her in B tier, but I'm gonna be putting her at the top of B tier. And I actually have reasons as to why. I was making jokes as to why I'm fearful of Mercy mains, but here's my reason as to why I'm putting her in B tier. Early in the video, I talked about why Pharah is good, why Echo is good, why Ashe is good, and it's all revolved around a Mercy Blue Beam. And the fact that you have a hero that can just amplify a hero skill that is actually good with that DPS hero, I think is very valuable when it comes to a team composition. Like, yeah, you have Orisa's Bongos, but that's an ultimate. This is available 100% of the time. And if you really are a good DPS hero, then you're going to take advantage of the fact that you might have a pocket. Now, I'm not going to be subjecting Mercies to just pocket duty, but the opportunity is still there. And I haven't really been talking about a lot of maps where a hero can be even better, but on a map like 2CP, that res is so valuable, especially if a team even gets one kill on your team and they be aggressive. Well, at that point, they just burn a lot of ultimates and displace themselves from a protective area where a Mercy can easily res them. It's now a 6v6, and you can focus on, say, someone like a Reinhardt that just charged in, or maybe a Sigma that doesn't have a sucky suck ability. There are better healers in the form of Baptiste, where it's just faster, better healers, more opportunity with the anti-grenade where you can instantly get a kill and say someone like a Roadhog, but Mercy, it's really solid. Sombra, I'm putting her in D tier, and it sucks because I really do think Sombra is such a powerful hero, but it's all because of her ultimate ability. When you get an EMP, you should win that team fight. Emphasis on should, and even the opportunity to be able to hack a hero that relies on their ability, like an Orisa or a Mei or a Reaper, is great too. And hacking health packs is a fun time also, but that's the thing, is that you're wasting a DPS slot to be able to hack things. And if you're not taking advantage of those hacks, you're wasting your time as Sombra, which is why I'm putting her in D tier, because yes, you do have the ultimate and the opportunity, but you really have to practice on who is the most valuable hack, when to hack health packs, and communicating with your team. But I will put her higher than Pharah, and I don't know why Pharah is higher than Zenyatta, right there in the middle, because the EMP, it's so good, man. It's so tasty. Genji would have been S tier, probably the top S tier, but then he got reverted. Now he's just kind of he's good, but not better than Ashe good. Yes, there are a lot of weebs that put in hours upon hours practicing Genji that can make him look like still an OP hero. But the fact that he went from mediocre to S tier and then reverted back just to his mediocre self and now only has the spread buff, it's like, Yeah, you're better than mediocre, but you're not the Genji they used to be 2 weeks ago. But Symmetra is probably the most polarizing hero in this whole entire tier list, which is why we'd be putting her in C tier. She is right in between from, yeah, somewhat good to, yeah, somewhat bad heroes. Lots of great things can be done with the teleporter. Great defenses can be added with her sentry, and burning down shields is awesome with Symmetra. But she's still Symmetra at the end of the day. You don't have a lot of mobility, so you can't run away from that flanking tracer. You don't have a lot of protection from that Roadhog hook, and you also have to wait to get to the level 3 beam just to be a good Symmetra. But if you do, oh my god, man. Great team coordinated hero, and also just an annoying hero to try to deal with on defense and even sometimes on attack. Hanzo is still a really good hero, and it pains me to say that because I hate Hanzo, but I hate Hanzo because he is such a good hero. He can kill any kind of squishy that he wants to. You just have to be accurate, and then he can burn down any tank because of his storm arrow, but he can also burn down any shield that he wants to. His ultimate is good pairing with the Zarya ultimate. Like, there's just so much that Hanzo brings to the table, even though he's a relatively easy, simple hero to learn, so I'm gonna be putting him right in between Orisa and Doomfist. Hanzo doesn't necessarily belong to any kind of composition like how Orisa, but I feel like he has the insta-kill ability like Doomfist, but from farther distances, and he can also kill a lot of tanks, which I think is better than what Doomfist can do against tanks. But when it comes to the other sniper in the game, not considering Ana or Ashe, would you consider Ashe a sniper? I would put Widowmaker in A tier. I feel like my biasness thinks that Hanzo is better than Widowmaker, but when it comes to the long distances, Widowmaker beats Hanzo. When it comes to the insta-kill potential, I feel like it's easier to do it with Widowmaker because you always have the charge shot. When it comes to time to kill and just killing opportunity, Widowmaker is the best that does it, but I think Ashe is better. In fact, I think Ashe is a little bit better than Baptiste. Better than Sigma? Maybe. I think just because Sigma got nerfed, I'm gonna put Ashe a little bit higher, but yeah, that's, I don't want to mess with like the placing after I place them, just right there. Bastion, I don't think it's really a surprise. I think he's kind of the worst hero right now. He still has a purpose, which is to move on payload maps, but that's the thing, is that he's tailored to a specific map. That specific map, payload maps aren't always playable, and even when you do have a payload map like on King's Row, you don't always have the payload ready available. You still have to capture the first point. If you're trying to catch the enemy by surprise, then yeah, you can run a Bastion, but it's so easy to adapt to a Bastion. Moira is up next and has a lot more heal opportunity than Mercy, but now we have to weigh our options. Is heal opportunity better than res opportunity, or is the ability to res someone way better than being able to use your ultimate, heal ball, and also just have a lot of gamer girl P at your disposal and heal multiple people and let it linger on? I'm going with heal, so I'm going to be putting Moira higher than Mercy. The fact that you're able to heal multiple people without having to use your ultimate, unlike Mercy where you do have to use your ultimate, I think is a lot better, especially for aggressive compositions where you're going to be taking a lot more damage and you're having to be a lot less accurate compared to Ana, and you're also having to like move with your team. Roadhog is really good against bad teams where if you misplace yourself, like if you're by yourself, yeah, he can punish you and kill you, but his biggest draw is that he doesn't have protection against good teams where it's compensated for his heal ability. But a good team more than likely is going to be using an Ana where you just splash the anti-grenade, making him useless, meaning that he's going to be in D tier. But I'm going to be putting him as the highest D tier hero because that hook is still a good ability. It's really, really good, especially on environmental maps. Lucio's the last hero, and it's really the first time that I've seen him be mediocre. He's never been bad, and he's still not bad. You can get away with Lucio, but with Brigitte and Baptiste and Ana, it's like, okay, put him in C tier. Not the greatest DPS. Ultimate is, yeah, it's good. It's a good counter, but you also have Rally, which gives you armor, which is permanent until it gets destroyed. So everything that Lucio do probably can be done by Brigitte better. You just really have to ask yourself, how much do you value speed? Because if you think it's the greatest thing that Overwatch has ever came up with, then it would probably be S tier. But then Brigitte's ultimate can also give you a little bit of speed, so it's like, but making some quick changes here, I would put Soldier underneath Echo because I feel like there's more DPS opportunity when it comes to Echo, and Mccree, as long as you're accurate, can still be consistent and higher DPS hero. When it comes to Sigma, I think I would put him under Baptiste, but I'm really comparing apples to oranges here. It's like they're not really correlated with each other, but the nerfs, man, it's just so not good to him. But then everything else, I think is a good placement. Again, it's not like my opinion's the end all be all, just because I don't think Pharah is good without a Mercy does not mean that she can't be an A tier, because I'm sure there's going to be a Pharah main out there that'll be like, no, you just don't know how to play Pharah. Yeah, you're right, but I also try to use it from the broadest point of view, which is not everybody can play Pharah against hit scans, which can easily be switched onto to counter you, but anyway guys, I love you guys, thank you guys for watching, more Overwatch videos to come, and bye.